All right. We are back in the Belmar Studios today, and we have a very special guest with us. We have Sheba Dougherty from Shore Simplicity. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Tom.
Thank you for coming on the podcast. And you have a very cool business. When I heard about it, I really wanted to have you on because, one, this is like your second career, but two, like what you're doing to help people, I thought was really cool. And then how you're helping people to even help a next group of people. So let's get right into it. So tell us about Shore Simplicity.
So Shore Simplicity is a professional organizing business, and we offer a multitude of services to pretty much help everyone in one phase of life or another. We'll professionally organize a home or a business to declutter and, give it a system, let things run smoothly. If you're renovating or moving, we will pack, purge and pack, and then on the other side of the renovation or the move, we'll unpack and organize.
Quick question. After you organize somebody who needed your services, do you do like a check-in 6 months or a year down the road to see how they're doing?
We offer a maintenance plan.
Okay, cool.
At a discounted rate.
Because I feel like some people are going to go back to their bad habits. It's like anything.
Yeah, and it's actually funny. We have some maintenance clients that are regulars for us, and they'll actually text team members or myself and say, hey, do you remember where you put the Easter decorations? And we will know exactly. They haven't looked at it for a year. They have no idea where it is in their house. And we're like, oh, yeah, it's downstairs in your basement on the third shelf to the right on the,
Do you database it all or have a
we
picture?
Don't. It's just all in here.
Oh, wow. That's even crazier. But I would, if that was me, I'd probably have like a little database, like with a little chart to show where it is.
Some homes we know better than the homeowner because we're always, we're there regularly. So, and we've put the systems in place.
That's pretty cool. So now there's a portion of people that don't know how to organize or have trouble with this. And again, everybody has different skill sets.
Sure.
So, it's great that a company like yours with you and your team can come in and, kind of organize it. And I don't think it's just for the homeowner. It could also be for a business too, right?
Oh, absolutely. Businesses really need us because you have so many people working in one area. And so things are constantly getting shuffled around and not put back where they need to be.
Is that why at my office we have 8 tape measures?
Yes, that is.
We did a project last year. We did a project clean out and we gave it to a charity, but like I found like 7 second monitors.
Right.
And it's like, hey, someone came in and said, oh, we need a monitor. And then we had COVID and people working from home and didn't look in the closet to make sure we had them. Oh, buy them a monitor. The nice thing is at least monitors are only like $75. So it's not the end of the world. And then we were able to turn them to a nice nonprofit in brick. So I felt good about that.
That's great. I always tell our clients, our services are an investment in both time and money. You're going to save both of those things because you're not going to buy things that you already have that you don't know. Yeah. And you're also going to gain time because the more efficient your life or your business runs, time is a very...
Then you don't have to go to Home Depot and get that next tape measure.
Correct.
So that's great. I love that. So how did you get into this? What made you kind of do this?
I was a physical therapist for 23 years, but the uniqueness of my job was that I was in home care. So being in people's homes, I saw the inner workings and dynamics of, all different types of families. So, mom looking for, I'm here to treat grandpa, but mom's running around and can't find that one soccer shoe and her kid's in the car.
Late for soccer.
I go to get a cookie sheet to work with a total knee replacement and everything falls out on top of me.
Oh, God.
Sometimes grandma's going to be going to assisted living or a nursing home or a loved one passed away and they're going, how do we empty this house? What are we going to do with all this stuff? We don't want to throw it away.
Yeah.
So then they just don't. Then it just sits there.
It's almost good because you got a prerequisite of what was in people's homes.
Yeah.
Because it sounds like you're an organized person and you do not have anything that's out of place at your house.
Listen, I'm human and I have 3 kids and a messy husband, so of course it gets
throwing
messy.
Him right under the bus today. I love it. For my mom, who's an avid fan of Grit Won't Quit, she is the most organized person. She could give you a run for your money.
Really?
She has everything organized. You ask her, go to the second shelf over there to the left.
Yep.
She knows where everything is. Meanwhile, like at my house, I just put stuff in like a corner and I'll find it in that corner.
Out of sight, out of mind.
Exactly.
Some people are just wired. I was born this way, so I'm just wired that way, Some people eat when they're stressed. I would always organize when I'm stressed. So
when you're stressed, like, all right, let's go to this closet.
Honestly, yes.
That's funny. So But like, this is pretty cool though. There's definitely people that can use this service. I can think about, like, homes I've been in. But now, when you deal with the older community, so you help them, like if someone's going to a nursing home or a loved one is lost, like to help do estate cleanouts?
Correct. So we'll clear out the estate. And usually when this is involved, we're working in conjunction with a realtor because they want to get photos done, they want to get the house listed. Sure. And it's so overwhelming and emotionally taxing for the family, whether the parent has moved on to move in with them or nursing home or has passed on. It's just too monumental, 30, 40 years. And, it's so easy for outside people to say, oh, it's just trash, get a dumpster. But it's not. To that person, it's a lifetime, it's memories. We have to treat it with respect. And to know that those items can go to so many people and animals in need in our community, why are we filling our landfills with perfectly good stuff? Why aren't we giving back? So now we're empowering our clients to give back to their communities. So
do you have a list of nonprofits that you work with, that you vetted, so that you know that, so you can feel good selling to one of your clients, hey, go here because we know that they do the right thing?
Absolutely, yeah. All of our nonprofits, I have a personal relationship with them, and oftentimes the goods that, whether it be furniture or home goods that we get out of the house, are usually in the hands of the recipients like within 24 to 48 hours.
That's great. That's really great.
Cool.
And you and I got connected through a podcast guest and someone I've known for 15 years, Cliff.
Yes.
And I'm glad that he recommended you to come on to the podcast, because he's a great guy, and he helps businesses, get to that next level.
Yeah. Cliff is the ultimate networker.
And he's a giver.
And he's a giver.
He's a giver.
So generous. And he's taught me that your business is only as strong as your network. And it's glaringly true.
I think that that's so true, because I think a lot of times, you think you could do everything, you don't think you need things, but like when you really kind of peel that onion back, it's beneficial to have. So it's great that Cliff recommended you. I think that he runs he's done a lot of great things.
He's done a lot of great things for a lot of businesses.
He was telling us he had like 7 businesses at one point in time. That's just a lot to manage. It's a lot to.
Yes, it is. The great thing about Cliff is he's experienced everything. He's been at the top. He's been at the bottom. He's been in between. So he can relate to every experience you bring up.
He talks about it, that's the real entrepreneur. That,
yes.
Again, it's not all sunshine and rainbows.
No.
There's a lot of hard days, and I don't think a lot of people, and as we keep expanding this network, I hope more people understand, entrepreneurship is great. I wouldn't trade it. I love what I do, but I don't think the average person knows what it means to be an entrepreneur. No. I think they think about like some of these TikTok celebrities, and that's not the everyday entrepreneur, and it's not like reality.
Correct. I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't know what I was getting myself into.
And you're in 5 years now.
Yeah, I'm 5 years in, but I was in healthcare for 23 years. I wasn't even in corporate.
Yeah.
So, that's a completely different world.
Yeah, sure.
And I think, what I've learned and what I've learned from other entrepreneurs is your business is a living, breathing entity. And until you realize that, you're really not going to be happy or successful, because it is like a child that you have to keep alive and help thrive and nurture, and it's care about, and when when
the stupid things happen, have to deal with
it. And you have to embrace the mistakes and embrace the failures, and you have to learn from them rather than make excuses. You have to take accountability, and it's all good. The failures are part of the growth.
Totally. Every entrepreneur that's on here, and I've said this, and it sounds like you kind of fit the bill. Entrepreneurs are wired differently. They're just not wired the same. And again, I think you had a head start in healthcare, and maybe that was just kind of getting you to this point. But entrepreneurs are wired differently, think differently, act differently, do things differently.
Yes, they do.
So I think that once you understand that, you're on your way. But I think ultimately some entrepreneurs maybe don't know that. Like at the beginning, I was like, am I just weird? But now, as I've talked to more and more entrepreneurs, we're all weird.
We're all weird. Yes.
So all the entrepreneurs, but again, when you before you know a lot of entrepreneurs, you think it's just you.
You do. It's also a really lonely journey.
It is.
Especially when you're first starting out. It's scary and it's very lonely, and that's why your network is so important. I find myself now 5 years in, I want to be around more entrepreneurs because they get it.
Yeah.
They understand those hard days, and they're also genuinely happy for you when you have those great days too.
Yeah, when you succeed. Totally.
But early on, it's lonely. You have those high five moments, and there's no one to high five.
Yeah.
Or you have those days where you're like, I just want to quit. I don't want to do this anymore.
You're like, what the hell was I thinking?
Right.
Especially you came from kind of a more secure paycheck every 2 weeks in the bank account. To now, like, you're like, what the hell did I? Yeah. And then you get some crazy clients along the way,
sure.
And you got it's just
everything, like managing people. I never managed people. I was never a boss to anyone. I was just a healthcare peon. I mean, I had 100% job security, and then I gave it all up.
Yep.
And I'm thinking, and I've had many days where I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What did you just give
up?
But
on the other side is you probably never give it up now.
I'll never give it up.
And you probably love it.
It is a fire that burns that I can't even explain. It is an addiction. I'm addicted to my business.
And making it better.
And
growing it every day.
Yeah. And
meeting new people and connecting.
And the cool thing is about a business is, because it is a living, breathing entity, you don't have to have you have to have goals and you have to have focus, but you can grow it as far as you want. You can stop here, you can stay there forever, or you can change your mind in a year and then say, I want to take it next level. It's just so cool because it is so organic.
The best part too is it's success for everybody is different.
Yes.
Success for, even success for yourself, the goal line changes, right?
Correct.
So, I remember when I first started, I was like, if I ever get to this milestone, I'm out.
Right.
I've surpassed the milestone. I've gotten involved with other businesses. But, like, again, the milestone is, the goalpost has just changed.
Yes.
Because when you first start, you're like, I'll never get to that. Like, and you read stats on the internet about how many people have gotten to X different things, and then when you start to see some success and you start to see the wind behind your sail a little bit, like, I can do this, and you build a little momentum. Then you get kicked in the,
and then you get kicked down.
You get kicked down. Then you take 2 steps back. You retreat. You wipe the dirt off your face, and you keep going.
Correct.
And you just keep moving to that next goal. I think that's what entrepreneurism is all about. And I think you're right about the network, because I think that when you really think about it, and again, as you get more employees, there's different problems, because you can't talk to your, it's not like, if you're having a payroll issue, you can talk to an employee and say, if you told a friend of yours, and if they knew what your payroll was or what your healthcare bill was every month, they would be shocked. Like, I hear when people tell me, when they left their corporate job, their healthcare, they had to pay Cobra and what the price was. And I said, if you ever want to talk about real healthcare, give me a call, because I pay for 50% of my employees and myself and my wife. So, I'd be happy to have that discussion with you. Or I'm going to just hold out from corporate for another 2 years, because then I don't have to pay for healthcare. Okay.
Right.
I understand all about it.
Or the fact that nobody's taking our Social Security right now. Yeah. Right.
So, like, it's just kind of funny, like, when you think about it. But I think a lot of people have no idea what it's like, nor would, I think that if they did it for a day or two, they would be like, I'm out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, you're right. You have to be wired a certain way, and you might not know that you're wired that way until you're in it.
Yeah.
I kind of always had this in me.
So you knew.
I knew.
You knew you were crazy.
When I was a little kid, I had businesses. I always had a business. I paid for my first car painting the backs. I'm old. Painting the backs of jean jackets. I would paint album covers on the backs of remember jean jackets were big in the 90s or late 80s? And so on that panel, I would say, what album cover do you want? And I would paint, and that's how I paid for my first car.
That's awesome. Let me ask you a question. Do you have a picture of one of those?
I don't.
Oh, because I was going to say, when we launched the podcast, I put it
up
there.
How cool would that be?
That would be really good. If you happen to find one, text me or email me before, because I think that would be really cool. That's really cool.
I always had businesses.
So you always had a little hustle in you.
I did, but once I became a physical therapist, it was very comfortable. It's like, okay, well, I would have to paint this many jackets, or I would have to make this many purses, or I would have to do this many murals to make what I'm making. And so it was too scary to take that leap.
Yep.
But then when this came about, pandemic did me in. I was already 2 years into the business, but I was still working as a physical therapist.
So it was just a side hustle.
So this was a side hustle. And I thought, it'll pay for some groceries.
Yep.
And then 2 years in, I was like, whoa, this is something. This this is turning. That's when I realized this is a living, breathing entity.
I love it.
And I said, you know what? You got to take that leap. It is scary as heck, but you got to do it.
Was your husband supportive of this?
Very supportive. Yeah, my family's been really supportive.
You need a support system at home, otherwise it's going to be even harder.
My kids are my biggest cheerleaders.
Oh, that's great.
My kids they're now 15, 13, and 10, and they, from the beginning, because their life changed a lot. You know, they had a mom who worked 3 days a week, who dropped them off and picked them up, and I came home and I was mom.
Yeah.
And now I work 24/7. I'm always working.
Sure.
And so my kids have had to deal with a lot of adjustments, and they have been amazing. And I think it's really cool that they're seeing me do this, that at 45 I decided to completely shift gears and go into something like the unknown. And I turned it into something.
That's great. And you created something out of nothing.
Out of nothing.
Like you were working, and now you have an entrepreneurial journey that you've been in business 5 years. Yeah. And again, to be in business 5 years that's success right there.
Yeah, 5 years. Just hired my 9th person.
That's awesome.
I mean, it's really, really cool.
I love it. You know, we had a person on recently, 3rd generation business. So, you know, for your kids to think about as time goes on. Her father started the business 52 years ago, or 50-something years ago, and then she's been in the business for 30 years. She said her kids, both her children graduated college, thought they were going to go in a different direction, both of them, and now they're both working full-time for this business. So 3 generations at work at the same time, and 50-something years and thriving.
That's amazing.
Like, that's a success. Like, I love to hear stories like that.
Yeah, it's the true American dream, isn't it? You know, that you turn something from nothing.
Yeah.
And, you know, when you have that passion and that drive, you know, the more success you have and the more growth you have, it just fuels it more.
Yeah, it doesn't slow it down.
It doesn't slow it down.
Keeps going.
It's tiring. I'm not going to lie. It's the most I've ever worked in my life, but
you're loving it.
I love it.
So it's not really work though, if you're not like.
It doesn't. A lot of days it feels, when you have those hard days, it feels like work, but most days it doesn't feel like work.
So now that you have 9 employees, 9 plus yourself, so it's 10?
10.
So now that you have 9 employees, are you still in the homes organizing them, or are you now managing?
No, I'm more managing. So I'm on the large jobs. Like I'm on the estate clear outs. I'm on the whole house overhauls because we have partnered with Keller Williams, just brought us on as a preferred vendor. So now those jobs are big. Those are big jobs, and I have deadlines to meet, and I have realtors to
that are calling and asking if it's ready to be pictured for the sale.
Yes, those promises have to be fulfilled. So I'm on those large jobs, but I have such an amazing team. That they are off in their happy places. I mean, it's really cool. I'm in a place now where I could ask my girls, where do you want to be? And some of my girls, they're like, I don't want to do X, Y, and Z. I'd rather be on these jobs. And I'm like, all right, take those.
Take those because you're going to do better at them. You're going to excel at something you want to do.
They're going to do great at what they love.
Totally.
And then I have other team members for those jobs. And then I have newer people that I'm bringing on the bigger jobs to train them. It's just really nicely coming together.
So it seems like it's a kind of a well-oiled machine at this point.
So far, it's funny. Knock on wood. This is going to be the first summer I said to my kids, because I really have not seen them much the last 4 summers. This is going to be the first summer that I said, you know what? I think I'll be around a couple days a week. I might have to check on a job in the morning and check in the afternoon.
But you could do things with them.
But I can go to the beach and take you to Six Flags, and I can actually be around and have fun with you.
That's great.
Which is, Cliff was, really integral in that. He was like, you have to learn how to release control. Because obviously I'm a control freak because I started a professional organizing business. So he said...
You're worse than the average entrepreneur.
Exactly. So he said, you need to get to the point where you're working above the business rather than in the business.
That's great, and that's great feedback. And I think Cliff is Cliff's seen it all. He's had the highs, he's had some lows, he's been in the middle, but he's had multiple businesses, and more than multiple, a lot of businesses over his career. So I mean, to have coaching from him, I think is even great because he's seen it all. He's until I think sometimes I remember one time a business coach came to me and said, I love to see what you guys are doing, and I want to be a coach. And I said, well, what experience do you have, like running a web technology company? I own a limousine and bus company. I said, what experience do you have in this? Like, and again, it wasn't so much the experience in, but what kind of CEO experience do you have? Managing multiple teams, managing teams that are home and as well as in person, as well as, people that are older than you and younger than you. And, I really liked the guy, but he didn't have the experience to help me get to where I wanted to go.
Right.
So I didn't think that was the right coach. But I think like when you look at somebody like a Cliff, who's kind of been in he's been in the hustle.
Yeah.
That a person like that's a great person to be working with.
And he's been at every level. It's really important to be in the trenches.
Yeah.
I mean, I had to be dusty, dirty, sweaty for all these, and I will continue to be on, as things evolve. But I had to be in the trenches. Do you ever see that show? Yeah. You ever see that show Undercover Boss?
Yes.
So, sometimes the bosses would come in and they would be blown away.
Yeah.
Because they didn't realize what their employees went through. But you have to start at the bottom and you have to do the dirty work so that'll make you a better leader.
Yep.
Because then you'll know you were there.
You can appreciate what you're asking people to do.
Correct.
I always say I'll never do something. I've learned this from my fraternity days 20 years ago. I can't ask someone to do something that I wouldn't do myself.
Correct.
So if I'm not willing to do it, I can't ask you to do it.
And if you have the mindset that something is beneath you, then entrepreneurship is not for you. It is not for you.
I was talking to an entrepreneur this morning who is in the home services space, and he goes, he's got a nice business. He's got it. He's doing very well. He goes, I plan like if I have a slow day, I'm gonna go put these door hangers out. Like, if you're not willing to do that yourself, you got a problem. Because you're gonna have trouble growing unless you have an unlimited budget to just spend on ads and
right.
And
but
marketing.
You're still not gonna be a good leader.
Truth.
Right.
Yeah, you can't ask somebody to do
But
something.
I mean, listen, being an entrepreneur is very humbling.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, and you know what? When something goes wrong, I'm there.
Yeah.
When things mess up, I'm there till midnight. I'm there till 10. I'm dirty.
You got the egg right on the face.
If the junker doesn't show up, who's removing the junk?
Yeah.
It's going in my minivan. That's on me.
Yeah, exactly.
That's on me.
Totally.
I mean, that's not on my employees.
No.
And the better you are a leader, you need to set your team up for success, because that's only going to benefit everybody, right? You have good workers, you want to keep them,
and you want to keep them happy, and you want them to do their job and be accountable. But you want to make it a good experience for them.
Yeah,
I love it. I love what you're doing.
Thank you.
Keep doing what you're doing. Keep growing. I can't wait to hear more from you. As we wrap up today, let everybody know where they can find you, how they can find you online, how they can find you on social media, because I think you offer tremendous service. I think this is so cool.
Much.
And I'm glad that we had the chance to chat today.
Thank you so much for having me. You can find us, please visit us at www.shoresimplicity.com. We are on both Instagram and Facebook at Shore Simplicity, one word. And our phone number is 732-309-0417. We offer free estimates for any job.
Awesome. Mom, I can't wait to see you watch this one.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you.